Salsa time! Hi, I am Harol Rivas, and I'm going to introduce you the members of the Salsa Vintage Group. They are
Valerya, Charri.
Gabriel, Fernandez.
Francy, Perdomo.
Fritz, Charles.
Gretter, Hernandez. What does salsa mean to you?
Well, that is such a long question. I mean, for me, because I was in a group called the Fania All Stars. Salsa music isn't necessarily their invention, but the Fania All Stars started in New York, and since they got into it, from that point on it kind of became a worldwide thing, more so than it was before. It was always Cuban music.
Salsa is like something to dance because it's like moving. Los pollitos dicen pío, pío, pío cuando tienen hambre, cuando tienen frío. So I always feel like singing and dancing at the same time.
What does salsa means to me? Wow, that salsa is just the style of music that I grew up listening to, and I learned my trumpet pretty much skills and music skills by listening to salsa.
Esto no es un son ni una guaracha, ni canción ni cosa original, pero sirve para que la muchacha si es que quiere salga a bailar.
The whole story about listening to all these records when I was really young, like from Tito Puente or Machito and Tito Rodriguez. I grew up listening to that and to the Fania All Stars when I was a teenager, and that is the style of music that I grew up and I made my money.
To me, salsa means Latin music, traditional spirits to the Caribbean and other stuff like that, which basically means that I am very good at it.
Combination of a lot of different flavors from different countries, influence from Africa with the congas and the drums coming into the wabanco, and that making it a hit, combining over here to New York City. In New York City there was a lot of jazz. When that jazz got together with that Latin beat that was already combined with all of that flavor going around in the islands over there, I think that's where the formation of salsa came. It came from different varieties of flavor, even jazz.
To me, salsa is very interesting because it has many different art forms. You can sing it, you can play it, you can dance it, you can even draw about it. There's many paintings of people dancing salsa, so it's very interesting how it's affected or influenced cultures. Yeah, that's what I think about it.
You know, there were only three original American musical art forms: jazz, rock and roll, and salsa. And salsa is one of my favorites. And it's just a blend of everything urban American and Latin American, and it's incredible. I grew up listening to it, I grew up playing it, and it'll be with me forever.
Salsa. Salsa is the music I grew up with. Salsa is all the influences from my Hispanic culture and New York City and the environment I live in the barrios or in the ghetto neighborhoods of New York.
Salsa. Salsa is a very important part of my life. To me, it's passion, feelings, and emotions. It is a chest of memories too. Salsa means opportunity, not only to play with all those legends like Tito Gomez, El Grupo Nietzsche, Guayacán, Cano Estremera, Ray Reyes, Fruco y sus Tesos, the Latin Brothers, Nacho Sanabria, Santiago Cerón, and many more. But also, it's the opportunity to share my talent with people around the world. I can say too that salsa music is a package of verbal and non-verbal codes that I use to communicate my feelings with my audience.
What made you come to this country? Was salsa part of your decision?
I came to this country looking for some new ideas, new ways to expand my experiences in music.
Yes, it was, because I live in Colombia and I used to come here to play in musical tours. Then I spent more time here than in my country, and I decided to come here to live and to continue playing my salsa.
How long have you been playing salsa music?
I started playing salsa music when I was 12 years old. I started with this group from Puerto Rico called Los Chiquitines del Son, and it was conducted by this amazing musician called Máximo Torres. And after that, I started playing with Don Perignon, called not right now Don Perignon, but in that time was like Evolución 75, and that was a long time ago.
Well, when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I was recruited for the first local neighborhood salsa band in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That was Pete y Su Modernos was the name of the band. I was 16 years old. Richie Ray was the piano player. He was about 16 also. Bobby Cruz was in the band as the singer, a bunch of guys. Just comes from growing up in a mixed racial neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Ah, wow. Since I was 14 years old, I'm 56, 57 now, so, 47, 48 years.
Salsa music I started when I was 17. So, if I tell you how many years, you're gonna know my age, but it's 40.
From the beginning of 1967, all kind of music. It was a global kind of music, but I developed some interest in salsa starting 1974 when that big move of the Fania.
I have been playing salsa music for 1 year.
Well, I began when I was about 4 years old, so that would be around 11 years now. And I haven't been that much into salsa. It's been more of a general music type of thing. But I think salsa is very special because when you are singing or dancing or playing salsa, you can really transfer that special chemical stuff with the audience. They can easily clap to it, snap to it, sing with you. It's a very special type of genre.
I think I've been playing 8.5 years because I've started ever since I was 6 months old.
I have been playing for more than 20 years with more than 100 orchestras and in different countries, different cities, and many cities.
Since you started playing, how has salsa evolved?
Salsa then changed. It became a lot more what they call romantic. A lot of the singers, started singing like Spanish ballads, but up tempo. To put it mildly, and it changed. From the hardcore salsa, the real hardcore, faster moving music, to a little bit softer, more melodic, more tranquil type stuff.
Well, like any musical art form, it keeps evolving all the time. It started out as Cuban and Puerto Rican music, and then in New York, all the R&B and black and rock and roll influences came in, and now you got the Colombian salsa and the Dominican salsa, and there's salsa bands all over the world, in Japan and Israel and Russia and the Ukraine, and it's like any other art form. It never stops growing.
What would you say is the difference between the musicians from Miami and the ones from New York?
Musically, as far as the instrumentation-wise, instrumental-wise, they're just as good as other musicians from New York. Or they can be just as good. I feel that because of the musical environment and the availability of being able to play with so many different kinds of bands and learn from so many different kinds of music in New York makes a big difference. And it did at those days, especially more than now. In those days, salsa music was basically a New York thing and a Puerto Rico thing.
What is the most memorable experience in your career?
Was when I was 4, as I said. I was singing in this festival, and it was a salsa song. And all of a sudden, when I finished, everyone was like, woohoo, another one, another one. And I was like, at that moment, I was too small. I had never experienced that before. I was like, okay, these people went crazy. I did not understand. I was like, why are they doing this? I started crying. And it was so much that my parents came up stage, they tried to motivate me to keep on singing, but it was such a big shock to me. Well, it's good, but in that moment, I didn't understand it. That I just couldn't do it anymore. So that's something that I always remember, and it's always in my head, when they ask me something like that, I always have that image of all the people going like that, and then I started crying.
We have many musical instruments, like a bass, piano, tres, congas, timbal, maracas, güiro, trumpet, saxophone. But what happened when we put together all those musical instruments and all those experiences? Let's see.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.